There was a time when dinner was not made at home. It was unboxed. A time when every American family gathered around the TV, trays in hand, ready for a hot meal that came from the freezer. These were the TV dinners that defined convenience, comfort, and mid-century charm. So grab your fork and your favorite TV show rerun, because we are peeling back the foil on 30 vintage frozen dinners everyone ate and secretly loved. 1. Swanson's Fried Chicken Dinner, 1953, the one that started it all. In 1953, Swanson accidentally overproduced turkey for Thanksgiving and came up with a genius idea: pack the leftovers into aluminum trays, freeze them, and sell them as ready-made dinners. Their first breakout hit, though, was the fried chicken dinner: crispy golden drumsticks, mashed potatoes, peas, and a brownie. Families were hooked instantly. The crackle of foil and the aroma of chicken heating in the oven became a soundtrack of post-war America. 2. Swanson's turkey with cornbread dressing. Nothing felt more holiday than Swanson's turkey dinner: tender slices of turkey smothered in gravy, served with sweet corn, mashed potatoes, and cornbread dressing. For busy moms in the 1960s, it was Thanksgiving in a tray. The rich, savory gravy and buttery stuffing brought warmth to even the smallest dinner tables. 3. Banquet Salisbury steak. If you grew up in the 1970s or 80s, this one was probably your go-to. The Salisbury steak dinner was a TV dinner legend: ground beef patties, swimming in rich brown gravy, paired with mashed potatoes and sweet corn. It was comfort food through and through, and yes, everyone knew the meat was probably 40% mystery, but no one cared. It was affordable, hearty, and pure nostalgia in every bite. 4. Swanson spaghetti with meat sauce. Long before microwave pasta cups, Swanson made Italian nights easy. Their spaghetti with meat sauce had soft noodles, a slightly sweet tomato sauce, and chewy beef crumbles that somehow made you feel fancy while watching I Love Lucy. It was the first taste of international cuisine many suburban families ever had. Morton's meatloaf dinner. Morton's may not be as famous today, but in the 1960s, they were a big name in frozen meals. Their meatloaf dinner, complete with brown gravy, mashed potatoes, and green beans, was the ultimate comfort combination. The texture was dense, the gravy salty and rich, and somehow it always tasted like home. 6. Swanson's roast beef dinner. Roast beef in a frozen tray might sound unthinkable today, but back in the day, it was a Sunday favorite made easy. Thick slices of beef with dark gravy, buttery mashed potatoes, and a side of peas or carrots. Swanson's roast beef dinner was the frozen version of a home-cooked feast. Families would pull it from the oven, sit in front of the TV, and pretend they were dining out. 7. Banquet turkey and gravy with potatoes. Banquet. Budget-friendly answer to Swanson's turkey dinner came in a red box that everyone recognized. The turkey was tender, the gravy hearty, and the potatoes whipped into buttery clouds. It was the dinner that got many families through tough times. Filling, reliable, and always under $1. Swanson's Hungry Man boneless pork dinner. The Hungry Man line appeared in the 1970s, made for big appetites and bigger portions. The boneless pork dinner came with juicy pork slices, stuffing, apple dessert, and vegetables, and it was proudly marketed for real men with real hunger. Every dad in America thought this was the ultimate meal after work, and every kid wanted to be hungry enough to eat one. 9. Stouffer's macaroni and cheese dinner. When it came to creamy perfection, Stouffer's macaroni and cheese ruled the freezer aisle. Rich, golden cheddar sauce coating every noodle, baked to a crusty edge in the oven. It was smooth, buttery, and the very definition of comfort. Remains one of the few vintage dinners that survived the decades, proof that classics never fade. 10. Banquet fried chicken dinner. While Swanson invented the TV dinner, Banquet perfected it for everyday families. Their fried chicken dinner was cheaper but equally beloved: crispy breading, dark meat flavor, and sides of mashed potatoes and corn. It was a common sight in every freezer from the late 1960s through the 1980s, served on tray tables in front of sitcom reruns. 11. Lebelan Space Dinners, 1970s. These were not just meals, they were adventures. Marketed to kids, Lebelan dinners came in space, pirate, and cowboy themes. Each tray had tiny burgers, mac and cheese, pudding, and even little prizes. The flavors were simple, the packaging wild, and every kid who opened one felt like they were part of an intergalactic mission to dinner time. 12. Swanson's chicken pot pie dinner, creamy filling, flaky crust. And tender chicken. Swanson's chicken pot pie was one of the most comforting frozen meals ever made. The aroma alone could fill a house with memories. It was the perfect balance of old-fashioned cooking and modern convenience, and for many, the taste of Mom's kitchen without the work. 13. Stouffer's Shrimp Newburg. This elegant frozen dinner brought fine dining to the living room. Shrimp Newburg featured tender shrimp in a rich, sherry-infused cream sauce served over rice or noodles. It was luxurious, especially for the 1960s suburban household. It made you feel fancy, even if you were eating it off a TV tray in your pajamas. 14. Morton's breakfast dinners. Before breakfast, burritos and frozen waffles took over. Morton's gave Americans a full morning meal in one tray: scrambled eggs, sausage links, and hash browns. It was hearty, delicious, and felt revolutionary. A full hot breakfast in minutes. These were the days when people first realized frozen food could do more than just dinner. 15. Banquet Salisbury steak with brownie dessert. A variation of their classic Salisbury steak, this dinner came with one genius addition: a gooey chocolate brownie that baked right beside your steak and potatoes. The dessert often cooked too fast or burned at the edges, but that was part of the charm. The smell of that brownie melting into the mashed potatoes was the unmistakable scent of a 1970s evening at home. Mid-roll break, transition. Frozen dinners were not just about food. They represented freedom, modern life, and the promise of more time. Moms could rest, dads could unwind, and kids could eat their favorite meals while watching TV. It was the golden era of convenience. It's wrapped in foil and nostalgia. 16. Swanson's fish fillet dinner, golden fish fillets, creamy mashed potatoes and peas. Swanson's fish fillet dinner brought the taste of a Friday night to every home. It was crispy on the outside, soft inside, and surprisingly satisfying for something that came from a freezer. Many families remember this as their weekly seafood night, even if the nearest ocean was hundreds of miles away. 17. Banquet turkey and stuffing with gravy. This version of the holiday favorite came with extra stuffing and thick brown gravy that soaked everything on the tray, and somehow that was the best part. It tasted like the holidays on demand, with the comfort of mashed potatoes and a tiny apple dessert that always felt special. 18. Swanson Italian lasagna. In the late 1960s, when Italian-American food was booming, Swanson offered a simple yet hearty lasagna dinner: layers of noodles, beef, tomato sauce, and a little cheese. The sauce was sweet, the noodles soft, and for many, it was their first experience with foreign food. It wasn't authentic Italy, it was better. It was pure Americana. 19. Banquet shrimp dinner. Tiny breaded shrimp, mashed potatoes, corn, and a dessert square banquet. Shrimp dinner gave families a taste of luxury without leaving home. It wasn't fresh seafood, but it was crunchy, salty, and fun to eat. A flavor memory of seaside vacations and summer TV nights. 20. Morton's chicken and gravy dinner. Morton's frozen meals often flew under the radar, but their chicken and gravy dinner was a quiet masterpiece. Thick slices of chicken, buttery gravy, peas, and mashed potatoes. It felt like something your grandmother might serve, only quicker. The smell alone could fill a kitchen with nostalgia. 21. Swanson breakfast with bacon and eggs. Swanson didn't just do dinners, they made frozen breakfasts too. Their bacon and eggs tray had scrambled eggs, crisped bacon strips, and hash browns, a full diner-style breakfast at home. It was marketed to busy workers and moms on the go, promising a real breakfast in minutes. For many, it was a weekday luxury. 22. Stouffer's turkey tetrazzine. Creamy noodles, tender turkey, mushrooms in a silky white sauce. Stouffer's turkey. Tetrazzine was a staple for comfort seekers in the 1970s. It felt upscale, especially when served in its glass oven dish. People loved its home-style warmth and creamy indulgence, perfect for cold nights and reruns of Mass. 23. Hungry Man Salisbury steak dinner. This was the meal for dads, teens, and anyone with a big appetite. It's a large Salisbury steaks, mashed potatoes, corn, and dessert. The Hungry Man line promised to fill you up like no other. The slogan said it all: a man-sized meal for man-sized hunger. It became a pop culture icon, symbolizing the macho appetite of the American household. 24. Swanson's liver and onions dinner. This one divided households. Some loved it, others ran. Liver and onions was earthy, strong, surprisingly popular in the 1960s, served with gravy and mashed potatoes. It was considered hearty and wholesome, a grown-up meal that reminded people of classic diner fare. 25. Morton's spaghetti and meatballs. Morton's version of spaghetti came with plump meatballs, tangy sauce, and a side of garlic bread. The noodles often stuck together, but no one cared. It was the taste of an easy Italian dinner in a time when cooking pasta from scratch felt like a luxury. 26. Banquet beef pot pie. Rich beef chunks, vegetables, thick gravy wrapped in a flaky crust. Banquet's beef pot pie was a freezer staple for decades. Crust crisped beautifully in the oven, filling homes with the smell of comfort. It was quick, filling, and the definition of all-American flavor. 27. Swanson's chopped sirloin dinner. A fancier cousin of the Salisbury steak, Swanson's chopped sirloin dinner came with real beef, caramelized onion gravy, mashed potatoes, and peas. It felt like a steakhouse meal made simple, perfect for date nights or Sunday dinners when cooking just was, and tea on the schedule. 8. Morton's turkey and cranberry dinner. This one truly brought Thanksgiving to your freezer. Turkey slices, stuffing, and a sweet cranberry compote that made the tray sparkle. Families who couldn't afford, or didn't have time for big holiday feasts found comfort in this humble, ready-made meal. 29. Stouffer's chicken enchiladas. When America started embracing Mexican flavors, Stouffer's introduced chicken enchiladas, cheesy, mild, and perfectly portioned. It was an early attempt to bring Tex-Mex to the frozen aisle, and for many kids, their first introduction to Latin-inspired cuisine. 30 Hungry Men BBQ Rib Dinner. This was the frozen meal for the backyard grill dreamer. BBQ pork rib patties in smoky sauce, mashed potatoes, and corn. The smell was incredible, the sauce sticky, and the portions huge. It tasted like a summer barbecue you could eat in your living room without lighting a single charcoal briquette. The legacy of frozen TV dinners. TV dinners were more than quick meals. They were symbols of a new era. They represented freedom for homemakers, the rise of television culture, and the comfort of convenience in an increasingly fast-paced world. Each tray told a story of changing tastes, growing families, and the birth of modern America's love for convenience food. Even though most of these dinners have vanished, the memory of peeling back that silver foil and seeing your meal divided into neat little sections still brings a smile. Frozen dinners were not just food. They were nostalgia you could bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. If this trip back to the golden age of frozen meals made you hungry for nostalgia, hit the like button and subscribe for more stories of classic American foods. Comment below, which vintage TV dinner do you remember most? Let's keep these delicious memories alive, one tray at a time.